I would love to be on major TV stations. And I guess you would also want to be a guest on a TV station and talk about what it is that you're passionate about. And if you're a speaker, that's important. Now, today we have a guest who is going to tell us about getting on major TV stations, and it's going to be a great thing. Just stay here, stay tuned, and if you haven't subscribed to our podcast, please go to www.diaryofaSpeaker.com and just subscribe. And also our YouTube, and would love you to share this episode and all our other episodes with all your friends who are speakers or who would want to become speakers. Today we have a special guest who is known as Mitch Carson. He's going to be here shortly to tell us all about getting on major TV stations. And not only that, he's got a lot to share. Now, if you're listening to us live, please ask any question that you may have, and let us know from where you're listening us or watching us from. That would be great. And now, let me not take one more minute because I know that Mitch has a lot to share with us. Let's give a loud welcome to Mitch Carson. Hi, Mitch.
Here on your show, I'm always excited to share with fellow speakers, aspiring speakers, people that have spoken professionally, and those that want to go global.
Yeah, we are honored to have you here, and there's a lot that we can share with the people who are here. Let's first know where you are in the world, because
I'm in Las Vegas. Yeah, Las Vegas, Nevada, in America. Yes, United States of America.
Oh, do you gamble?
Absolutely not. That's for the tourists. Those of us that live here don't fall prey to that. So we don't fall victim to partaking in gambling, because that's for the visitors who lose the money. And thank you for coming and supporting our infrastructure, because the taxes support the roads and the nice lifestyle that we have from all the visitors.
That's very good of you. Yeah, we know Las Vegas is famous for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we are here, and just before we got on, we had quite much to talk about, and I thought that maybe we could stay one full day sharing different things, but then why don't we have people who are going to benefit from whatever it is that we can share? Now, first and foremost, let's know you're a speaker, and
yes,
you've
I am.
been speaking for some time. How long has that been?
4 decades.
4 decades.
Yeah, 40 years. Actually, it's been 4 decades of experience. Just to give you a little background, I'm on an airplane tomorrow, leaving for Manila to do media over in Manila, setting up for an event that I'm going to produce later in the year, where I bring speakers in October from all over the world who want to be featured on network television throughout Manila, also want to be covered in newspapers, magazines, do radio shows, and then speak to showcase their talents, be interviewed by in a press conference, and also showcase their 5 to 7 minute presentation, which they can then use with a multi-camera shoot for their marketing to propel and excel their brand. And then I'm on to Singapore to speak at 3 events where I sell from the stage, which is the ultimate position as a speaker. That separates the men from the boys, from the little girls, from the astute and polished women who can sell from the stage, convince, persuade, and extract money from an audience.
Wow. And I know that you've had also some other experiences apart from selling on the stage, or maybe planning and organizing for events where speakers come and present themselves. Which other things could you have done in your life? Even which could be outside of the speaking world anyway.
Yeah. In the area of speaking, I have done it all, literally. I've emceed events. I have also run panels. I have been on panels. I have been a keynote speaker. I've been a workshop leader, multi-day workshop, dispensing a specific area of expertise, training people how to present, how to speak, how to convince, how to captivate an audience. All of those elements in the genre of speaking, I have literally done it all. And so I am a master of speaking in terms of, I've got my PhD because I put in the years of it. I've produced events, both virtual. More experience in my background has been live in-person events. I have to be careful with these distinctions, Anthony, because live today for young people might be virtual.
Yes.
But there is a grand canyon of difference between virtual and live in person, because you get to shake their hands, you get to hug them. Kissing is inappropriate in a lot of countries, but okay in some. If you head over to Greece or if you head to Italy, kissing is preferred.
Yeah.
But if you go to some of the other countries in the Middle East, that could get you caned and or stoned. So you got to be careful and understand your culture. And I talk about that when I work with my speakers, because you have to understand the local culture. I've run events in about 19 countries, spoken in 63, and have been on television in many of those countries, because that helps brand and ascend a speaker on the ladder of income. It grows their credibility and their income. When they're perceived to be valuable, and that's what television and newspapers and magazines and radio shows, podcasts you've been interviewed on, elevates the brand of the person. It legitimizes them in the eyes of a meeting planner, producer, or an HR professional that's involved in handling the annual event. Who do you select? Someone that's been on 40 podcast interviews, or someone that's never been on one, who's been on television, who's never been on TV, someone that's got a well-developed YouTube channel showing and proving their credibility, someone who's been on radio shows proving their credibility, someone who's got books or not. It's an essential part of a speaker's package. If you haven't written a book, you're not serious about the business of speaking.
Wow.
In my opinion. Now, that's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm willing to be wrong, and I'm always teachable and open-minded. But I look at any of my friends who are seven-figure earners in the speaking industry. All of us have books. All of us have been on TV. So that's the common denominator that you have to strive for if you want to make the big bucks.
Wow.
And I'm not in this for, I'm not in this to be a Toastmaster champion.
Okay.
That's great. That's great for people who choose Toastmaster, a wonderful organization. I've spoken at their international conference, How to Make Money as a Speaker. So I certainly can train those people to then make the crossover to professional speaking, which means you make money at it versus looking for a trophy for 7 minutes. There's a major gap in the difference.
Wow. That's quite wonderful. That's wonderful. I'm already excited of being there on the big stages and making some presentation, talking about my books. I have written books, by the way. So I think I am a serious speaker.
I would say so. I saw them over your right shoulder and left shoulder. You've got it covered there.
Yes, and I may have some others down there. So,
okay.
Someone stood on stage, and I've seen this not once, maybe several, and tells you, the audience, maybe it's sales and marketing and things like that, people who are making 7 figures and even 8 figures, and they say that the only difference between me and you, I am in the millions, I am in 7 figures, you're at 0. The only difference is time and what you're willing to do. And I don't know, just before we get into how you climb that and how you become like you are right now already, and we say there's so much we can share, but even before we come to that, let's go to when you were not a speaker, and what was that first time that you spoke, and how was it? Did you did you just kill it, or did you?
I failed miserably, worse than anybody you've met in your entire life. First thing is, I went to the bathroom and threw up. Not once, not twice, 4 times before I went out there. I was petrified, Anthony. I was terrible. It was not a fun experience. I literally vomited and was so afraid, and it was all in my head. I had no confidence, no preparation. I was an introverted child, only child, didn't talk much. All of a sudden, I got dropped into this position, and I realized I kind of liked it. And I felt, okay, I'm determined. There is nothing that's going to stop me from being good at this. And I paid my dues. You cannot think about it. You must do it. And sometimes it's just a baby step. And then it's another baby step. And then you take a longer step. And at some point, after doing it multiple times, you become better, a little bit better. Yeah. Then you work a little bit better. And you always record yourself wherever possible, record yourself and go back and look at the footage, because self-correction is going to be the best coach you ever had. I coach and advise people and consult them on their speaking and on their media experience when they're on TV and on stages, webinars, the language they use, their body language, etc. Yet I tell them, I'm going to give you great feedback. I promise you, from my decades of experience. The best feedback you're going to have is to watch yourself. You'll say, why did I say that? And that zing that you give yourself, that pain of like, oh, why did I say that? Why did I say that? Will disappear. It's like the little rubber band as a reminder. We've heard about that. Put a rubber band on your wrist. Every time you say a word that you shouldn't, or you say an or you know, or right, all these verbal fillers, you snap yourself. It's like you're self-caning or self-whacking. You're whipping yourself to stop with that bad behavior. It's a correction. When we raised, I don't know how it was for you when you were a boy. My mom smacked me. Yeah. That was a correction. My grandmother smacked me. Can't do that today as a parent, but my grandmother was strict, man. She didn't play. And she whacked me if I was out of line.
It happened to me as well.
Well, okay, but it worked. It worked. It's like, I don't want to get smacked again by Granny. She hurts. Mom hurts, and she's slapped, and all these things. It's your own slapping, seeing yourself, making a mistake. You will self-correct. Coaching is essential, but it's 5 times more essential that you look at yourself on camera and you see the mistakes you made, and you then internalize that and you pivot and improve. I watched myself and wanted to vomit again. And then I realized I can't do this. I must improve. And fear is what riddled me. And how do you get through fear? You face everything and rise. Let me repeat that. Yes. Face everything and rise. Push through that fear. It's uncomfortable, and it takes courage, Anthony. And what is courage? Doing what is uncomfortable and doing it anyway.
Just doing it. Just doing it.
Just do it anyway, because the outcome will pay off for the pain. The outcome will compensate for the pain that you endure going through your fear, getting up and just doing it. And the person who's willing to go and do that, we have an expression in the United States. It's a baseball metaphor. You must swing the bat in order to hit the ball. If you're doing cricket, which might be bigger in your part of the world, cricket, you must swing it.
Yes.
How do you know what you're going to hit? If you don't, if you sit there frozen and do nothing, you're going to freeze to death.
Yeah, exactly.
Got to swing the bat, Anthony.
Yes, just swing the bat. And for someone who's out there and you're dreaming of becoming a speaker and you've not done anything, then it's a good time to just decide that you're going to swing the bat and become a speaker. And maybe Mitch would have 1, 2, 3 things to tell someone how to get started, even as they would continue to swing the bat. How does who's never spoken on stage?
Well, first thing I want to explain, what I talked about was a lot of mindset, and I've got one more thing I want to add to that.
Okay, go ahead.
This is the precursor before I tell them the tactical.
Okay.
You got to fix this. You got to include your heart, and then that turns into money.
Yeah.
3 things. Fix this, tap into their hearts through your heart, and then that'll create money for you. Now, how do you get there? You face your fear, you do it, you feel good about it, and fail your way to success. Keep failing. Welcome failure. It's your friend. Rejection is your friend because you will self-correct. Now, that was a lot of context and mindset advice. How do you implement?
Yeah.
You do, okay, a couple things. Got to get very clear what you offer the marketplace. What is your background? What's your expertise? If you are a carpet cleaner, you probably don't have many carpets over in Greece, but it's more hard. You have probably wood and beautiful stone. But if you are a house cleaner, be the best house cleaner and document why it's great. How to become a house cleaner or the things you don't know. You can start writing articles in print or online publications about your area of expertise. One way of starting a media trail. That starts it. Make sure the most essential channels, after you've established your message and market, that could be a whole podcast. How do you establish that? But let's assume you've got that handled, because I want to answer the real question you're answering.
Yeah.
Get it? Your message is there. You know where you want to go. What do? Start with articles. Maybe you write, you create a blog, but the social media profiles, 2 of them, you must have. 2. Number 1, you must have a well-developed and complete LinkedIn profile. Number 2.
Yeah.
Number 1 is most important is LinkedIn. Number 2, because if you're a speaker, guess what event producers want to see? They want to see you speaking. Where do you house your video footage? Your YouTube channel. If you don't have a YouTube channel and a LinkedIn channel, start one. If you're serious about the business of speaking, and I only work with professionals. People want to make money with this. If you just want to be a weekend speaker and be able to give toasts at your friends' weddings, I'm not your guy. If you want to turn this into a business, I can certainly advise people because I've done it. I've lived it. I'm in it. I'm on my way to a trip tomorrow for 3 weeks, and I will populate my wallet with money because I have books, I have media, I have the knowledge of how to go and speak, but it didn't start that way. That was an acquired skill set that took years. And I went the hard way, and I failed until I just persevered and kept going through the pain until I was able to derive and experience pleasure. And pleasure for me was money. When I saw the money roll, yes, I could smile just like you got a great smile coming from Kenya. Look at that thing, big grill. My American smile is almost as big as yours, Anthony. And that comes from money is the measurement of my success as a speaker.
Wow.
Now, that is one of the elements. The other is, am I impacting and are they receiving takeaway value? Of course, that's my goal.
Yes.
And when you work those together, money comes. I use the money because I knew that would cause a smile out of you and our listeners. Of course, they like money. Why not? Time needs to be compensated. And if you can also help them spiritually, if you can help them in their career, if you can help them mentally, if you can take somebody who's depressed to happy, all of these are the benefits of us being humans. And at my age as a senior citizen, I'm all about leaving a legacy and helping people. Money is not my motivator, but it certainly was when I was younger. I wanted to make money, to have a nice car, to have a good looking lady, to live in a nice house, all of those, let's just say, medals of proof of what I had done. Today, I have shifted much more in my older years. And how much can I impact and help people and leave a legacy?
Okay.
It's the privilege of a mature person, older person. We go to grandpa for advice. He's not
Yes.
there. He's there. I'm in a grandpa role. I don't have any grandkids, but my role is it's very nice to be able to help people. I
Mm.
never thought about that when I was young, but then when I passed the 60 mark, I realized, it's really nice to help people. I
Yeah.
understand now why my grandpa did what he did. I
Uh-huh.
understand now when people mentor others, there's a tremendous human gratification when you're able to help others. And it
Mm.
comes at different times. Some people, we think of Mother Teresa, who was
Yes.
a pure, heart-centered soul person. She gave selflessly. Wonderful. That's an extreme. And however you fall into that pendulum is great. And money will come, ladies and gentlemen. If you
Mhm.
do it with passion, you do it with a purpose, profits will reveal themselves to you.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, I realize that you've shared the stage with some big names.
Yes, I have.
Can you list some of the names that you shared the stage with?
Well, probably one of the most international names, what internationally known names would be Sir Richard Branson, Donald Trump, when he was not the president. We're going back 25 years with Lord Sugar, multiple. I've trained, and I have to keep it quiet because of a non-disclosure, but I've trained and worked with multiple members of the
Okay.
royal family in the Middle East. I have shared the stage with Chinkee Tan, who's a well-known celebrity in the Philippines, Suria Sparks, who's a big celebrity speaker in Singapore. Chris Okazaki attended my event for speakers and he called me as mentor while he attended my event in Dubai. And he is known as the Tony Robbins of Japan, runs one of the
Mhm.
largest seminar companies in Japan. He's based out of Tokyo.
Okay.
Very solid, excellent speaker. Dan Kennedy in the United States I've worked with. There's a long list. Some of the people are gone now, but there was also the late Zig Ziglar. He's been gone a long time. But I've
Yeah, it was a
shared,
great person, great
yeah,
speaker. Uh-huh.
great speaker, an honor. And a long, long list. I've produced over 2,000 events, Anthony. So I've been on the stage, and I could continue with names, but there have been a long, long list of people that are well known in their markets. And it depends who's listening, because when I went to Dubai and I started mentioning, hey, these are some of the speakers I can bring to Dubai, I got eyes like they had no idea who I was talking about.
Yeah,
And
I can imagine that. Mhm.
oftentimes big names are only geographic.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. What could have been the highlight of all those years of your speaking that you say, oh, this has been the most treasured time of my life in these events I organize or in these speaking engagements that I got? What could that be?
On a personal level, all about Mitch, and then I'm going to talk about Mitch as a coach.
Okay.
For me, when I knew I became a well-known pro in my home country was about 2003 or two or three, when I spoke on the stage of Mark Victor Hansen, who was the co-author of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series with Jack Canfield. And when I spoke at his mega marketing event, and I was all throughout the marketing materials, and that's when I went, wow, I have arrived.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was then on the back of the product that was sold, which back then was cassette tapes before
Yeah.
DVDs,
Mm-hmm.
tapes. And I had my own product. When I had my own book and it was in the bookstores called The Silent Salesman, produced by John Wiley and Sons, published by John Wiley and Sons. And then my book went international. Then it got translated into German. Those were some of my personal big accolades when I've been interviewed by CNN, CNBC, Fox, ABC, NBC, the CW, in the Philippines, all the major networks I was covered in all the major networks in the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
I've been on TV in Japan. I've been on TV in Puerto Rico. I've been on TV down in Colombia. These were all personal accomplishments / accolades, confirmations of my brand that I experienced personally.
Mm-hmm.
I could go on, and there are more countries I'm just not answering.
Wow.
Then I shifted into the role of coach.
Okay.
Okay. Now I'm going to fast forward to bringing a group of 38 speakers to Dubai to showcase their skills in the international arena. We were there for a week. The capstone of the experience was getting them in front of television stations, which I did, got them all on CNBC Arabia, got the proof to show it. They all have their interviews. What we recorded in the Burj Al Arab Hotel, which is the world's only 7-star facility. But then I had a group of people that came from Thailand, and there were 6 of them. These women, they were all women, came up to me crying after day 5. It was a 7-day experience.
Okay.
After day 5, they were crying. They came to me and said, Mitch, you have changed my life. You've changed the way I see myself. You've given me confidence that I never thought possible before. You've allowed me to feel great self-esteem and to be powerful beyond measure while I take the stage. Because you've given me all the proof assets that are undeniable.
Yeah.
I've been on a radio show. I've spoken on an international stage. I have a great message. I've spoken in 2 countries because then I took them over to Bahrain to speak, and they spoke in front of the royal family. They're on Bahrain TV. They had the governor of Bahrain invite them to the royal palace for high tea. All because I introduced it, and they said, you changed my life. Then I realized I transitioned from being all about me and my accomplishments to then being able to help other people achieve their dreams. And achieving their dreams was 1,000 times more powerful and rewarding than all about what Mitch had done. When you can become the mentor and assist other people in achieving their greatness, realizing and actionable dreams become reality.
Yes.
There's no greater reward, Anthony, for me. So that was a pivotal moment when I saw that. I mean, I could go on. There are many stories when I've seen people help them get their books written, guide them through that process to then get on international stages. I've had several clients where they said, you have forever changed my life. You saved me. I was on the verge of depression and suicide.
That's wonderful. It's good to just get such feedback that you've changed someone's life.
Oh my gosh. And it was unexpected. I thought I was delivering an experience so that would build their personal brand. That was my goal. The real hidden, much greater benefit takeaway for me as a producer and for me as a mentor of these people is seeing them transform and go through something that they were emotional about, Anthony. They changed to where I looked at them and I realized this is much greater than a tactical takeaway of speaking, of media. Their belief in themselves, their belief in change, they're embracing a new way of seeing themselves. And when someone said I was going to kill myself and I've chosen not to, how do you not react to that as a human being? It's like, oh, you saved my life. I mean, I'm just doing my job. But I'll take it if you want to say that. Wonderful. I'm glad I'm able to help a human being. And isn't that the ultimate goal if we are unselfish and selfless, is to help another human being, regardless of their culture, where they belong, what they've done. If you can help somebody, there's no greater reward.
That's the greatest reward. I agree with you. And to everyone who's listening or watching, I just look forward to seeing you on stage and making an impact on people and changing their lives in a positive way. That would be very great. Now, we have a lot of people watching, and especially on YouTube. We have, on YouTube, we have someone who's calling himself Mechanical.
Yes.
He says, any 2 or 3 tips at initial stage to improve public speaking?
I would join. Yes, to improve your public speaking. First of all, I think we talked about
it. We already talked about that, so maybe he
just do it. But I'll give him. I'll be very short in my answer. Do it, and do it. Take every opportunity, every Rotary Club, Lions Club, school project. I don't know what his background is. I'd have to have a little more information to answer precisely. But in general terms, and I think you would agree, Anthony, just simply go do it. Join a Toastmasters club. There's also something called Agora International, which is a club organization like Toastmasters. They're around the world as well. And to do it, you've got to practice. You can't enter the Cricket World Championship without swinging the bat.
Yeah, once again,
you got to earn, if you want to earn a spot on an international stage with international speakers who are big names, you got to put in the hard work, man. You don't get there. You don't get to the Olympics without sweating a lot.
Just sweat, work it.
Work it. You got to do it, man.
Work it.
Got to do it. You can't run a mile without first starting with a quarter mile.
Yeah, sure. Exactly.
You build up. So that's what I would say, Mr. Mechanical or Mrs. Mechanical. I don't know.
Whatever. We're going to find out someday. Now, tomorrow you're traveling for 3 weeks. You'll be out
in Asia.
In Asia. How often are you traveling? How many events do you do per year on average?
Okay, I'm going to speak pre-pandemic because everything changed after that event in history.
Yeah.
So pre-pandemic, I was on the road pretty much 2 out of 3 weeks of the month.
Oh, the month, yeah.
So I got 3.5 million miles in the air flying around the world.
Wow.
So I was on an airplane constantly, traveling, speaking from one event to the other. Before the pandemic took hold, I spoke monthly in Singapore and monthly in Kuala Lumpur, twice a year in Dubai, and then every quarter or more in Japan, and in Manila, I would run 2 events a year as well.
So what has changed now? Because the things have changed. How is it happening now?
Well, many people now refer to live events as being virtual, and that's the reality. When I opened up last summer, I ran an event in Kuala Lumpur. Boy, was it hard to fill the event because they had been so conditioned to consuming information virtually. People didn't want to leave their house, and they got used to paying a lot less because the costs weren't there of producing a live event, buying ads, paying for a venue, paying for food, all these things that were variable costs in the past before the COVID. Now people consume virtually and they're comfortable doing it. They don't want to leave their homes. We're doing a podcast virtually versus having to come to a live event venue at a hotel and to listen to Mitch talk, to listen to Anthony talk about the key factors of becoming a professional speaker. They're consuming it this way. So we've had to adapt to a virtual platform of delivery of content. And that's the reality.
But the money still comes.
The money still comes. Live events are back, but in a different way, and there are fewer of them.
And hybrid also. Now,
hybrid. Yeah, I produced an event. Yeah, I produced an event in Las Vegas, the very first event in the world on ChatGPT, because it was right after it. I had 300 people, a complete sellout in the conference room in Las Vegas, and 263 people that came in virtually.
Okay.
Wow. And we had no more space in the event, so we had to sell the virtual. You can get a live feed of this via Zoom live by paying $200 and getting all the information that the live people do. And some people chose to consume the information that way because they were so accustomed to being able to sit in their living room, watch it on their big screen TV or in front of their computer, whichever the way they chose, Anthony. And that's just the way it is today. If you don't involve live streaming as a way for people to consume your content, you're missing out. I had to make that adaptation. Yeah, I had to adapt to the way you have to give people what they want, not what you think they need.
Yeah.
Because if they want to consume virtually, give it to them and charge them.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah. Wonderful. Yeah. Oh, wow. Mitch, it's been quite an honor having you here. We're almost coming to the end of the show.
Okay. Thank you, Anthony.
We're glad that you did come. As we have shared much, I know there are people who are saying, hey, I would like to be connected to Mitch and learn more, maybe maybe even have him as my coach, and yeah, so much that they can find from you. How does that one? How do
Well, if
if you want to connect with you?
sure. The way to connect with me is if you'd like to embrace media in Las Vegas. That's what is important to get the credibility to become a speaker. That's what I created. Is they can get on television here in Las Vegas. If you're serious about the world of speaking and want to become a pro, getinterviewedguaranteed.com/meet with Mitch. I will put that in. I can put that in the chat, or if you can write, I'll put it in here. Okay.
I'll put it in.
getinterviewedguaranteed.com/meet with Mitch. And that's MITCH. That is where you can set up an appointment to talk to me if you're serious about media. And if you are serious about the world of speaking, and I do charge, it's not for free. This call is free. And if you want to move forward, I will make an offer to you if it makes sense, if you want it. I'm not there to pitch you. I'm there to make an offer if you choose to be a professional. If you just want to talk and tell me about your dogs and cats, let's you know what, email me. But if you're serious about the world of speaking and want to get on television in Las Vegas and want to do this, reach out to me. We can make it happen.
Okay. So everyone, get interviewed guaranteed.com/meet with Mitch.
Perfect.
Okay. Yeah. So we're also gonna put that as a clickable link at some point. And yeah, so this has been great, really great. We really appreciate you. Once again, I can say that we really appreciate you coming. So we're sharing that as a clickable link in the comments, and people can go and get it.
Great. And I appreciate you having me, Anthony. This was fantastic. And my passion is speaking. I mean, I've been in it for 40 years. It's something that has been a great vehicle to affect others and to provide a nice living for myself and a solid contribution to society.
Tell us a few things that you would like us to know just before we go. That I like asking people to tell us something that we should always remember. Now, as a speaker,
I'm 6 feet and very handsome with the blind women of America. Okay. I say that humbly about blind women. Yeah. Oh, they touch my face and say, "Oh, you're handsome."
Yeah.
Yeah. What? That's a great question. I don't think I've been asked that, at least today. But before, what do they know? I am a blessed individual.
Okay.
I am a blessed individual because when my tombstone is written, when I do pass, when I'm passed on to the next chapter, I will say the inscription will possibly be, and I've asked others what they would write about me because it's a hybrid of what your question is. What would be written on my tombstone? Friend, mentor, great friend, mentor, humorist, and took pride in making others feel better about themselves. Assisting other people. I can't make anybody, but I can assist people, provide the pathway for you to allow yourself to feel better and more accomplished about yourself.
Wow, that's cool. I love that. So the question goes to the person who's watching this or listening. What they write about you? What impact are you making, whatever it is that you are? What's that legacy that you're going to leave with the people?
Well, pretty much what I had shared on the tombstone is what is my legacy? I have impacted people. I've written books, which is a legacy, because nobody can take that away from you. Even when you're past and your children see it. I would say I left America and the world a slightly better place because I contributed my part. I participated as a caring human being.
Wow, that's wonderful. And we are asking all those people who are watching or listening, go and make that impact. Go and become someone who's making a difference in this world. That's about it for today. Thank you very much, Mitch. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. And thank you to all who are listening. We appreciate you also. Please remember to subscribe to our channel on YouTube or go to www.diaryofarspeaker.com and subscribe with your email address to get all the podcast episodes sent to you once we do them. That's about it.